My goal for 2026 is to generally reduce the amount of toxic products and replace them with natural but effective products.
Hi again. My name is Ariel, and I have over 10 years of experience as an herbalist. I love plants, I love trees, and recently I have moved to Texas to my very own homestead. I am also a girl, so I decided to dye my hair the most clean, toxin-free way possible that I could think of. I was racking my brains, thinking, how can I dye my hair without resorting to something from my Hot Topic days? And I realized that a compound called tannins, which are in very, very many plants, are a very good way of dyeing fabric. While my hair is not made of fabric, I think I could still dye my hair with a tannin-rich herb. So, what I have found today are something called oak galls. Oak galls are weird little growths that happen on oak trees. Actually from parasitic wasps. These oak galls, or oak apples, are what people used to make ink out of. And I thought, well, if we can make ink out of it, we can make a dye out of it. This is a good project for me specifically because I just want my hair to be generally darker. I have very little expectations of this project. If these cute little weird oak galls don't work, I'm gonna try like black walnut hull or something. I am determined to get a result.
Oh great, I have low battery amount of grams. I think we're gonna say we're working with 1 ounce of material. I could be wildly wrong. So now we're gonna put our herbal material in. My gut is telling me to do like a typical herbal decoction, bring it to a boil, and then take it down to a simmer, and then let it simmer for an hour or two. I'm adding to the plan. These are black walnuts that I found on one of my walks. They're very dried out. The oak gall dye examples was really close to what my natural hair is, and it was really pretty, but I want like that Arwen Undomiel dark color. So let's crack some of these bad boys open. Look, this is beautiful. My hypothesis is that high porosity bangs will dye very, very well, and my low porosity rest of my hair will hold the color for like a couple weeks and then completely wash out, if not sooner. So I have the first batch of the hair dye. Yum. But I think the color is gonna be perfect.
It is very liquidy. A shower cap here so that I can wrap a towel around it and have heat gently diffused into it. Oh my god, look at the floor.
Our first trial has done nothing. Absolutely nothing. So let's get back at it. My next project is an oak bark based dye because I'm not going all around my property looking for the oak galls again, although that was cool and like magical.
I picked a bunch of oak bark from fallen branches on my property. We are adding stinging. A deeper color, we are adding rosemary because it stimulates hair growth. We're adding some of the walnut powder freshly ground. Here we're adding arrowroot. We're adding fenugreek seed, grinding this up and sifting it to get gel to mimic like the store-bought hair dye. Adding apple cider vinegar.
I have dyed my hair with the new oak bark mixture. I acknowledge that it might look exactly the freaking same, but in real life, it's a lot darker and more natural toned. When I was in the shower rinsing out all the little gelatinous fenugreek bits, I definitely saw that the top of my hair was still blonde, and I was like, no, all that work and what did it get me? But the bottom of it is red now, and all of this length is much more like rich, dark brown, red chestnutty, which is kind of what I was going for. It wasn't the like deep, dark brown that I was like hoping for. It really gives a vibe of color depositing shampoo. Like it's not gonna do much, but you can tell it happened. I'm gonna order some indigo powder. So we're not giving up, we're just going the corporate route. I will have my R1 endomeal hair. Mark my words. This is how you manifest. You make intense statements and then you follow through with them. Anyway, I'll see you when I get the indigo.
All right, guys, I'm so happy I finally got a result that I really wanted. I got the deep, dark, rich chestnut, beyond chestnut, like dark raven brown hair I wanted. I used a combination of henna, indigo, and oak bark tea. I've seen a lot of swatches online of people doing either a 2-step or a 1-step processing of the henna and indigo combination, which is doing the bulk of the power of this hair dye. But the results were always a little like ashier or cooler, less rich than I wanted. So I do think that adding that really strong oak-fat decoction did help give it that more rich chestnutty color. And as you can see, we finally got like an appreciable result. I did waste a lot of time messing around with dyes that I'd made from things on my property, and I'm glad I did that, but it didn't really do much. It basically gave me a glorified dark hair rinse. What I love about the henna and indigo combination is that the hair feels like smoother and softer because it is a little conditional treatment, especially the indigo. It kind of coats the strands of hair and makes them stronger, which my fine-ass hair needs. I have used henna so much in the past, I was trying to avoid it for this experiment. I was like, we're going to be a purist. We're just going to wildcraft stuff on our land. No, turns out I need to grow henna. And then I would be wildcrafting it, right? Or farming it. At the end of the day, I avoided box dye. Every time I use box dye, my scalp gets so irritated. My scalp is such a princess. She can't even handle like a Pantene shampoo. Anyway, we're appreciating our bodies the way God made them and giving them what they need, which is all natural ingredients. I will put the Amazon links for the indigo and henna I use below. I think they're great. I've noticed my scalp feel overall less itchy. My plan in the future is to do the same thing again. If I wanted to like go a little more gothic, I would add more indigo. I'll show you all the ratios of what I did, and I will get deeper into explaining the chemistry of henna and indigo and oak together. All right, here is the recipe for what actually worked and the dye that actually stayed in my hair after several washes and several weeks. The active compound in henna is lawso, and it binds to the hair shaft and actually chemically penetrates the hair follicle, releasing the dye pigment into your hair. Henna itself is acidic, which helps open the follicle, and that is why some people add more acid in the form of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar to their henna. Now, indigotin, the active compound of indigo, it's a more passive chemical, and it will just stick the lawsone in the hair follicle, so it kind of piggybacks on the henna. Unlike henna, indigotin prefers an alkaline environment, which is why people do that 2-step process, first henna dye, wash out, and then immediate indigo dye. That works especially well for covering gray hairs, and it will give you this beautiful jet black hair. I have zero patience for this because of my chaotic family lifestyle. I do not yet have gray hairs, and my skin tone looks better with brown anyway, even dark brown. I say that because the 1-step process is going to give you more of that dark brown color. So if you are looking for jet black hair, do the 2-step process, first henna, then indigo. To enhance the dark indigo dye, next time I will skip the apple cider vinegar entirely. I may even add some baking soda to the indigo henna mixture to raise the pH to keep the indigotin happy and work better after the henna and water has processed on its own overnight. I may or may not keep using an oak bark decoction as the water element in my henna indigo mixture. It's not really strictly necessary for the color I'm going for, but it does add a really wonderful chestnut toning. Next time, I won't use arrowroot to thicken it because it just made a mess. I will use more indigo powder instead. The ratio I used this time was about 1:2 henna to indigo, but I may increase that to 1:3 or 1:4. Not more than that because we want the henna to do its job. If you're trying this, remember to adjust your hair length and thickness. I always make more than I think I need. I have long hair, but it's quite fine, and I usually use about 8 to 12 ounces of this beautiful glue. Chemistry, it's a chemical mystery. And would I be a girl with a YouTube channel if I did not shamelessly flaunt my long, shiny raven locks in front of the camera, showing that this ordeal, the multi-step process of experiment was worth all the time it took to get to this point? But I am so happy with it, and I will be following this recipe or similar in the near future. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Let me know if you try any natural plant dyes for your hair, or maybe for some fabric you have. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!